Ku Sangpo and welcome to Bhutan This Week with me, Sherab Songmu. Our top stories. The People's Democratic Party, after securing 32 seats on 13 July, has emerged as the ruling government. The general round of the second National Assembly elections saw an overall voters turnout of about 66%. More than 250,000 Bhutanese voted this time. On 13th July, the People's Democratic Party emerged as the ruling party, securing 32 seats. Druk Phuntsum Sokpa managed to win 15 seats in the general round of the National Assembly elections. Only 3 women have been elected.
In the primary round, the Druk Phuntsum Sokpa won over 33 constituencies with majority votes in 8 Dzongkhaks, while People's Democratic Party secured in 12 constituencies from western and southern Dzongkhaks. However, in the general elections yesterday, it turned out to be other way round. The People's Democratic Party secured 32 seats, making it the ruling party. PDP won with majority votes from south and western Dzongkhaks. The results were officially declared by the Chief Election Commissioner Dashikinsong Wangde. Meanwhile, the general round of the National Assembly election saw only 3 women elect, one less as compared to 2008 elections, and all 3 are from the PDP. The polls of the general election saw election observers, including the Chief Election Commissioner of India, the European Union, Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, STC, and the United Kingdom, fielded 2 member observation teams each. A total of 19 international media personnels from India, Netherlands, South Korea and Nepal were in the country to cover the elections. Pematsuki for PBS News.
Unlike in the primary round, postal voters opted for People's Democratic Party in the general elections. PDP secured the highest number of postal ballots, about 58%, while DPT managed at least 41%.
The People's Democratic Party secured 25,853 from 44,259 postal ballots. The PDP secured the maximum number of postal ballots from 38 constituencies. The postal ballots ensured PDP's win in 5 constituencies. In Khame Lunana, DPT Skile Doji secured maximum votes in EVM, but when postal ballots were added, it was PDP's Pema Dakpa who won by 2 votes. Similarly, in Kanglung Samkhar Uzurong constituency in Tashigang, PDP's Nurbu Wongchuk won by 2 votes. DPT's Thilepalan Doji won by 286 votes in EVM. However, with postal ballots, PDP's Nurbu Wongchuk won by 288 votes. DPT's candidate of Mongar, Dewathang Gomdar and Wamrong constituencies all won in EVM but lost when postal ballots were added. The Druk Phuntsum Sokpa managed to win only in 9 constituencies in postal ballots, securing 18,406 votes. The ECB have issued close to 40,000 postal ballots, including overseas. There are more than 80,000 registered voters for postal ballots. Sonam Thamo for PBS News.
The general round of the second National Assembly elections saw an overall voters turnout of 66.1%. More than 250,000 Bhutanese exercised their franchise this time.
Most voters in Tashigang were shocked with PDP's win in 32 constituencies. Tashigang, with the second highest number of voters, saw a closely contested election between PDP and DPT. Voters also had not expected the party to win in 3 of their 5 constituencies. They did not anticipate the People's Democratic Party's overwhelming win. They had instead believed that PDP would be a bigger opposition party this time round. There were others though who said the government needed to change. In Samrup Dzongkhar, if attendance during the party president's campaigns during the primary round was a sign, it was symbolic of a Druk Phuntsum Sokpa victory, observers said. After the results, many refused to comment on camera, saying there was no need to talk about the results. Off camera, some did share that voters in Samrup Dzongkhar had decided before heading to the polls that it was time to give PDP a chance as they wanted to see change. There were others who said it did not matter who won or lost, as they believe that basic services will anyways be provided by the party who governs. This was the widespread reaction in Tsirang and Gelifu as well. Reactions in Wangdi Phodrang also did not reveal any biases.
Garabero longa ku chaptik tandula.
Majite jole jime chamichi mo mesikido tamichi yasapki tongto dunchi yakabitele mola anbinte tatbe no nostamita.
In Gaza, where PDP won a competitive election in Kamelunana by 2 votes, voters appear unfazed and believe that the ruling party will serve the country with the utmost dedication. PDP winning in Ha was not a surprise, but PDP sweeping 32 constituencies was unexpected even for people from the Dzongkhag that will most likely have the next Prime Minister. Even if the results took many Bhutanese by surprise, the People's Democratic Party now has high expectations to live up to.
The president of the People's Democratic Party has said Druk Phinsum Sokpa, as the opposition party, will bring in a lot of wisdom and experience to the parliament. This statement was made during a press conference on Monday.
When asked by the media on the expectations of PDP on DPT as the opposition party, the PDP president Sring Topye said DPT as an opposition party will guide the ruling party in an effective manner.
If the results stand as they are, I think the DPT will bring a lot of wisdom and experience to the parliament. As opposition, they can guide the ruling party very effectively because they have decades of experience in governance and lawmaking. So we look forward to cooperating with them positively within a constructive framework of checks and balances, and we do believe that democracy will triumph and that our people will benefit.
Answering to the media's question on why PDP won, the president said it is all about democratic choice that made PDP win.
Well, the obvious answer is that the people had a choice. We started off with 5 parties, whittled down to 4 for the primary round, and the people chose 2, and finally the people chose who the ruling party would be and who the opposition party would be. So it's about choice, it's about democratic choice. So the answer should be that the people have exercised the choice, and that is why we won.
Commenting on the congratulatory letter sent by the Indian Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, the President said the letter clearly indicates that the friendship between Bhutan and India are unshakable.
The ties of friendship between our 2 great nations are unshakable. And His Excellency, the Prime Minister of India, Dr. Manmohan Singh's letter of felicitation clearly demonstrates that, and he has also very clearly indicated that India's support to Bhutan will continue, and as a matter of fact that he's already directed his officials to start working on the process. So we have obviously we have all the reason to be optimistic in that front.
The President also expressed the party's gratitude to His Majesty the King for the support for the democratic process and also congratulated the Election Commission for conducting the elections in free and fair manner. Pemal Harden, BBS News.
Speaking to BBS, the Druk Phinsum Sokpa president, Chikmi Waitila, said an election is unpredictable, but he said DPT will do its best to serve as an effective opposition.
Tiki nantini le te tsaktugi tagaluptalu tsada pulera dublede kadabe toyonga te tsada pulera migi te lab mishebe se shunila te niletendigi be te ngachara katule geni de pamnigi noksamata te zora ngachara ransregi te sisogi katule ngachara dupin sobugi sisogi katule te ngachigi tawa gyoba te dale ngacharagi siju chashi tesu Kade tada miselo shogop sukara se digibe te shushimle te tuple de kadebra tundigere berra te tilu chashani ge noksa tandigi be la be se shunila dabodalu te ta tupusum sopa lo te to choki te genkudi puji se shunila te tilu ya nga chege gausemi magausemi te tilu ta di genkudi nambesami gi bom chimbe ge chata chimbe te te kadeta chi te cha shunigi noksa tando se shunila.
Moving away from political stories, with an increasing number of vehicles in Trongsa, parking space is becoming a challenge. The construction of a truck parking was planned as a solution, but the parking space could not be completed due to lack of funds.
The new parking area, which is a few hundred meters away from Trongsa town, is supposed to have been filled with trucks and buses by now. At the moment, only grass can be seen growing. The parking lot accommodating 18 heavy vehicles was to have been completed by July last year. The contractor has in the meantime completed work worth about 5 million ngiltrom. The Trongsa Municipal Authority says a total of over 5.4 million ngiltrom was agreed upon for the parking area. But when an additional amount of 900,000 ngiltrom had been required for the completion, it was beyond their budget. The Tromdetimi adds that parking space could have been completed on time if the original budget has been utilized properly.
The only one-third of the work has been completed. They seem to have been spent the most of the time on the retaining wall, which is not that important. The parking area was meant to solve a problem, but it is not serving any purpose at all.
The truck parking was also designed as an overnight bus stand. At the moment, buses are parked randomly while the trucks stop at Tripang parking. The RSTA base in charge shares that the present truck parking, which can accommodate 10 trucks, is not big enough.
Had it been completed by now, the parking problem would have been solved. The Mangdichu project is in full swing and there are many large trucks in town due to this. If the new parking lot is constructed quickly, then the old parking can be used for light vehicle parking.
Some truck drivers complain that they have to park along the highway due to a space crunch. During the 10 months of the contract period, an SS road towards the parking, ground excavation and the retaining wall at the take-up points were constructed, says the municipal engineer. For the parking to be complete, a black topping and ground leveling needs to be done, and the retaining wall has to be constructed as well. But all of this can happen only after the budget is sanctioned. Surjiman Thapa, BBS News, Trongsa.
An 11-day workshop for the youth on community mapping, a process of exploring issues confronting communities, was organized in the capital last week. Participants were trained in photography, short film making and also basic interviewing techniques.
It was to train the participants and assign them to different communities in Thimphu to identify the confronting issues and finding the solutions to issues.
For this particular workshop in community mapping, we thought it was an opportunity for us to get young people to learn about their own environment and about their own community. And an important approach where we say to them, don't just look at the problems, but try and find the solutions.
The participants visited different places in Thimphu to identify various issues that are faced by the communities.
From this workshop, I've been able to learn about my community better, and I learned about the problems that the community is facing. I learned about how to solve that problem because it's important for us to understand the problem and help solve it rather than just complain about it.
And in the due process of community mapping, I learned a lot of problems people face, and then I thought, yes, we can come up with a positive change as a youth. We cannot be underestimated, we cannot stay back, then always live in a luxurious life. There are people who need help and we are always there for them. So I learned that to look something beyond what can be seen.
They shared that the common issues faced by the different communities in Thimphu were shortage of water, lack of libraries, internet facilities, parking area and problem of waste management, among others. Compiled for Pemaishe, this is Tanden Finso for BBS News.
The immensely popular Yangfin Open Archery Tournament started on Tuesday in 8 Songkhaks at 9 different venues. The annual tournament has seen yet another record-breaking participation of about 260 teams from around the country.
Back in 1997, the Yangfin Open Archery Tournament was started with 23 teams. There were 260 teams last year, and this year the tournament has seen yet another record-breaking participation of 267 teams with 1,602 archers from around the country. The league round would be played in respective regions, which ends on 12 August. The knockout round and the finals will be played in the Chalimithang archery range. There are 112 teams from Thimphu with second highest number from Phinxling of 37 teams and 7 teams from Sikkim in India. The finals will be played on 31st of August. Karmat Singh, BVS News.
That's all we have for you this week. Thank you for watching.